Okay. 1, 2, 3. Siu Mai wrapping contest.
Oh my god. Oh, my hand is cramping. I've been filming.
Take a time. Take a time. Take a time.
What's up, everyone? Today we're making
Siu Mai.
My name is Randy, and we are the Laus. We're on a mission to celebrate and pass down our Chinese heritage, one meal at a time. After 50 amazing years as a Chinese chef, my dad's finally retired, and he's here to teach you all of his secrets to make the perfect Siu Mai, a dish he's made hundreds of times.
朋友們，大家好啊！我哋又見面啦。今日同大家介紹呢個呢，就係燒賣。燒賣呢，最緊要係肉料得餡嚟嘅啫。有心機包得靚啲就靚啲，炒樣炒樣啲都冇緊要，最緊要啲肉餡整得好就好食啦。
Originally from northern China, Siu Mai spread across China and the rest of the world, taking on many different varieties to adapt to local tastes. You've probably tried the extremely popular Cantonese version, as it's a staple of dim sum restaurants everywhere. Dim sum, or dim sum, roughly translates to a touch of heart, a reference to the delectable snacks that 10th century tea houses would serve to traveling merchants in Guangzhou, one of the largest international ports along the Silk Road. Even though dim sum is widely considered to belong to Cantonese cuisine, it evolved from a wide range of influences, largely because Guangzhou was and still is a critical hub for Chinese trade and a melting pot of different cultures.
咁我哋呢準備咗嗰啲係膊頭肉嚟嘅。豬嘅膊頭肉，8安士嘅豬肉，我哋而家咧就嚟切豬肉先啦。燒賣個餡咧，最緊要切，唔好剁啊！餡咧就好似你唔好話去買嗰啲market 買嗰啲搞好晒嗰啲肉碎，嗰啲整燒賣啲餡就唔好食啦。切幾多咧？1/4個嘅 quarter 咁上下啦，即係好似粒花生咁上下㗎啦，係啊，好細粒，切咗佢一片片啊。好啦，然之後咧，我哋切咗佢一條條，轉出嚟菜一粒粒啊，睇咁細條到嘅啫。嗱，睇住細條咁上下，啊，擺翻齊佢，再切成粒粒。
So someone asked, she made it from scratch, but the meat felt a little too tough. Is it because of the fat content in the meat?
邊個地部位嘅豬肉先？如果你膊頭個肉就好過撲叉嗰啲，撲叉肉唔得，撲叉肉就硬得滯啦。膊頭肉啊或者係五花肉咧，佢就會冇咁硬嘅。切開嗰啲肉嘅時候，你最好就啲手鏈咁樣鏈，或者邊有時間好似我咁搞佢，等佢
好似抹沙啲肉咁。
對啊，嗱，肉就切好啦。我哋切好肉之後咧，裝住佢，再用啲水浸住佢。點解要浸住佢咧？就係即係啲豬肉咧係經過風筍出嚟嘅，浸咗浸佢，等佢去咁樣嗰啲雪味，同埋咧將啲豬肉嘅血水浸咗佢，等佢去咗啲。咁樣醃起嚟食起嚟啲豬肉咧就好食好多噶啦。
We'll let the pork soak in water for about 10 minutes. A common misconception is that the red juice that leaks out from meat is blood, but it's not. Most of the time, the blood has already been drained by the time you buy it, and the red juice is actually a result of freezing the meat during transport. When you freeze meat, which is about 75% water, the water inside the muscles expands into ice crystals, which rupture the muscle cells. And when the ice thaws, it carries some myoglobin with it. Myoglobin is an iron-rich protein that turns bright red when it's exposed to oxygen. The purpose of myoglobin is to store extra oxygen in muscles that are used for extended periods of time. Interestingly enough, this is why not all meats are red or dark. Beef and pork meat are red because cows and pigs stand and roam almost all day. In contrast, fish meat is mostly white, with some red meat around the fins and tail, because fish float in water, and they aren't constantly using the bulk of their muscles.
呢啲係蝦仁嚟嘅，冇殼噶啦，去晒腸噶啦，係4安士嘅蝦仁。我哋咧就俾塊布索一索水佢。點解咧？因為啲蝦咧有水分喺度，等撈起上嚟嘅咧，好容易嗰個皮咧就係變軟咗噶啦。所以我哋用啲廚房紙嚟飲一飲乾水佢。
A general theme you'll see throughout this recipe is taking extra steps to make sure the meat or filling mixture is dry, because the wrapper will either get soggy or become really hard to fold.
呢個4安士嘅蝦仁都係切粒。睇住，唔使好大粒。蝦咧就買啲有啲蝦仁啦，搣到晒殼、去晒腸嗰啲咧，爽啲、脆啲。
哦，有殼冇咁好食啊？
佢冇咁脆，唔係話佢唔好食，不過你要識整， 搣多殼，俾少少baking soda上去，啲咁啲先將佢啲生粉上去，整好晒擺入雪櫃，擺一陣間佢就會碎。
有啲人用魚，
有用魚肉都得，嗰個魚肉濕多少濕多啲唔得多，啲豬肉又會吸水吸啲水，但係魚肉會濕啲，啲魚肉都得，你整得好就得。
燒賣咧一定要唔能夠太多水。
冬菇咧，我哋俾4個，已經浸咗啦，浸透咗噶啦，碾乾水佢。我哋咧又係切一粒，嗱咁厚嘅話咧，我就剪開佢啦，偏喺中間偏開佢，偏開中間佢，然後切一條條，又係將佢切成一粒粒。
How would you make this vegetarian？
你唔多啲，唔好咁多水分嘅素，一定要俾啲粉絲吸咁啲水佢。用粉絲、冬菇、蛋、紅蘿蔔、粟米粒。
仲有啲糯米都得。
再用啲其他冇咁濕嘅嘢就得。
啲冬菇如果係新鮮咧，
新鮮嘅都可以，不過就乾冬菇就好味啲，個味係有啲差別嘅嚇。覺得就係用乾嘅冬菇浸腍咗之後切咧，嗰啲味道仲好過新鮮冬菇。睇你做乜？好啦，冬菇又切好啦。切少少紅蘿蔔，紅蘿蔔咧又切好幼嘅粒嚟㗎，睇下氹上個面嘅啫啊！睇先切到成一薄薄咁樣，好少就夠㗎啦。然之後咧再切成一粒粒，好幼嘅一粒粒咁樣切啊，係燒咗㗎啦。好啦，嘢就切好晒啦。
Next, we'll be creating our marinade with 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, a half teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, a half teaspoon of baking soda, 2 tablespoons of water, a half teaspoon of white pepper, and 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon. The baking soda helps the meat become more tender and absorb more of the flavors of the sauce. The chicken bouillon is optional, but my dad prefers it because it adds a lot of umami flavor. We have all of these ingredients listed on our blog at madewithlau.com, along with step-by-step instructions and video clips to guide you as you make the recipe at home.
好啦，我哋而家將啲料搞齊，嗰啲未搞齊佢嚇，將個可樂搞齊晒。好啦，嗰啲肉咧撳乾水啲佢嚇，切嚇撳嗰啲水出嚟，啲血水嚟嗰啲啊，嗰啲係血水嚟嘅，係咪啊？睇到啊？好啦，嘢就俾齊啦，而家就開始醃嗰啲肉。首先倒晒嗰啲醃料落嚟，將佢撈勻佢，咁樣搞佢咧，就等啲肉快脆啲，吸晒嗰啲味料落去。
Mix the sauce and pork thoroughly for about 2 to 3 minutes, and set it aside for at least 10 minutes to let the pork absorb the sauces. Then we'll add in the minced shrimp and mushrooms, along with 1 teaspoon of olive oil and 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. Mix everything for another 1 to 2 minutes. We'll cover the bowl with plastic wrap and let everything marinate in the refrigerator for 4 to 8 hours.
啲肉會乾身啲嘅時候包起個燒賣咧，佢就個皮又唔會濕。
While we wait, I also wanted to make a special shout out to thank all of our wonderful Patreon supporters for helping bring this video to life. If you enjoy our videos and are interested in supporting us directly, head on over to patreon.com/madewithlau to learn more. After everything is done marinating, we can start wrapping our siu mai. One important note is to not expose the wraps to air for extended periods of time. Otherwise, they'll dry out and become hard to manipulate. You should cover them with plastic wrap when you're not actively using them.
而家我哋嚟緊做咩咧？就包，大概包20粒咁上下。呢度一粒個燒賣大概係差唔多係1個安士咁上下連埋晒。呢個係燒賣皮。首先將嗰啲餡擺喺中間，攤開佢。然之後咧，呢個手指嗱擺喺呢度，嗱咁樣擺喺度，擺上中間。然之後咧，用呢個匙羹嘅柄嗰度壓佢落去，將佢落去。嗱，我哋呢個食指咧就係咁勾，慢慢咁勾佢埋嚟，慢慢咁勾佢埋嚟，壓住佢。嗱，下邊都晾住佢嘛。嗱，已經成個燒賣形啦，係咪？咁我哋咧再加少少啲肉落去，光揸滿佢。嗱，然之後咧撳住佢面嗰度， 下邊再攣佢，即係將啲肉一下面壓實佢，嗱就係俾個手指咁樣咬，咁咬落去嚇，好容易咋，唔好難，就呢個手指食指咁勾，響轉經嘅轉嚇，得㗎啦。咁然之後嗱，你攞個磅嚟，我稱稱俾大家睇下啦。嗱，呢個係1安士嘅，嗱呢啲咧柯羅都係差唔多，呢啲咧0.9嘅1個安士，差唔多都係1個安士咁上下㗎啦。
係咪一定要稱啊？
你唔我就話俾大家聽咁啫嘛，你唔使一定稱嘅喎，個份量就係一個安士咁上下㗎啦，係咪？即係我半磅肉同埋4安士個蝦，4個冬菇。咁撈埋咧，大概係可以包得20粒咁上下。嗱，已經整好晒啲肉咧，就一定係要喺稍微咁較高出呢個嘅面上就得㗎啦。嗱，再俾大家睇下，嗱，又係一樣咁樣，將個時間個柄嗰度，將啲料佢中間輕輕咁刨開佢，輕輕刨開佢，然之後咧擺喺中間，嗱呢度咁樣，咁擺喺度，擺喺中間嗰度，個時間咧就輕輕壓佢落去，壓佢落去。試係嘛？係丟落去啫，差唔多就好似成個形啦，係咪？咁你再慢慢咁呢個手指咁搞佢轉嚟，嗱下邊咧，而家咧就壓翻啲肉佢上嚟，再加啲落去，嗱填翻滿佢，嗱好啦，基本上就差唔多噶啦，嗱得啦，而家成粒靠咩？呢個手指咁慢慢咁勾佢過嚟，知道嘛？呢個時間咧個柄咧壓住佢咧，下邊捏住。佢啲肉咁咪實咯，係嘛？睇到第一次包得唔靚，下次包咪靚啲啦，係嘛？包功多藝熟啫，功多手熟，係嘛？係咁簡單啊，好快脆一粒啦，係嘛？
As we fold the rest of our siu mai, fill a wok or steamer with about 2 cups of water and bring it to a boil on high heat. Once we're done folding and stuffing all of our siu mai, spread them out on a metal steamer tray, bamboo steamer, or plate, making sure that they're not touching. Then we'll garnish the tops with our minced carrots. Carefully load the siu mai into your wok or steamer, cover, and steam for 10 minutes. If you're using a plate instead of a bamboo steamer or metal tray with holes, you'll need to elevate it above the water with the steamer rack and steam for 12 minutes. Whichever method you're using, make sure there's enough clearance above the water to prevent it from boiling and splashing onto the siu mai.
好啦，做佢啦。睇到嘛？睇到嘛？而家拎出嚟啦，擺呢度，好啦，燒賣食得，叫紅多食燒賣，媽咪嚟食燒賣。
OK，
飲茶，一係飲茶，
屋企飲茶。Tea's house at home。So we don't say。
哎呀，香片嚟㗎，茉莉花茶。
Thank you。Oh my gosh。OK。
呢度燒賣嘅燒賣。
Just like remind me, I'm in the 牡丹閣屋倫飲茶嗰間餐館，我哋成日去嘅。
哇
，So good. Wow, good, right?
Perfect. This is better than dim sum.
Better than dim sum?
Yeah. Because the meat quality is so much better.
你幾時喺飲茶嘅餐館做㗎嘛
？8幾年啦，8幾年啦。
81年。
三文治餐啦。
Is this still open today?
It's still open, but change the owner 啦。
What's it called?
而家係珠海係咪？
唔係珠海，唔記得嘅，仲喺度呢餐館。
而家仲係餐館，但係
仲係有飲茶嘅。我同佢200去過，我同佢200去過嚟。
We was in Chinatown 1 year first. Do you know Walk-in? Walk-in Chinatown? We just in the upstairs of the Walk-in.
Oh.
Where we only have one room. The room is very small, only for one bed. So we have like a public kitchen, toilet, bathroom. Yeah, share with everyone. The rent is $180.
Wow.
This is all like other Chinese people that you shared with?
Yeah.
How many people live there?
A lot.
4 patrons.
Wow.
How do you choose the wrapper?
買啲皮啊，嗰啲中國嘅大啲嘅超市度多數都有。如果你買唔到呢啲圓嘅燒賣皮咧，你買嗰啲雲吞皮翻嚟就得啦。啲雲吞皮係4方㗎嘛，喺度 cut 一角佢，
cut 四角嘅。
燒賣 need to be circle, right?
Yeah.
You can use a cup, cut it in a circle like that.
Makes sense.
And then you can become a Siu Mai wrap.
Do you have a brand that you prefer?
冇咩牌子嘅，你係邊個麵廠出麵嗰個廠嘅牌子咧？我呢個都冇牌子嘅啫。我呢個都係一個麵廠嘅牌子啫嘛。
如果你想整你自己啲皮咧，咪好。
自己整嗰啲皮，
可能比較難啲。
佢難啲啊！你要整到咁薄，你有冇可能整到咁薄？人哋係用部機咁壓出嚟噶嘛，唔同噶嘛。
How many different kinds of thicknesses are there?
雲吞
即係雲吞皮就好多種，有啲厚嘅，有啲薄嘅。蝦餃啊嗰啲燒賣皮都係一種嘅啫，得一種係咁厚嘅啫。
It says like the wrapper says Siu Mai on the.
嗰個皮會唔會寫住係燒賣皮咁啊？
會寫埋我呢個麻花張紙咪寫住咯。
If you couldn't find one that says Siu Mai and you just have wonton wraps, what's the type of wonton wrap you need to get?
Find the thinnest.
The thinnest, okay.
即係薄嘅雲吞皮。
Okay.
Some of the wonton wrap is thick. Some is very thin. Buy the really thin one.
Okay.
Wonton sheets and Siu Mai sheets are the same.
一樣嘅麵粉，一樣嘅係咁啦，揸出嚟啦。圓嘅就燒賣，四方嘅就雲吞。一樣係咁打出佢係咁打出嚟咁厚咁薄噶啦。
Another question: How do you keep the wrapper from drying too fast?
蒸好之後，你咪如果你係唔想食，咪冚住喺個鑊度先咯。你拎出嚟梗乾噶啦，你唔食冚住喺個鑊嗰度，或者你俾個保鮮紙冚住佢，知嘛
Got it. Question about the skin as well. How do you keep the skin from getting soggy?
濕濕立立咧，好可能就係嗰啲肉太多水。
所以我哋話俾幾多水開嗰啲肉就咁啫嘛。如果你俾太多水，你一包好個鍋貼嘅時候，佢已經坐晒落去啦。你知啊？佢唔係咁直㗎啦，知唔知嘛？
你啲肉係咪沖過水㗎？
係啊，我呢度喺
咁你點樣整乾咧？
點乾啊
？Squeeze.
So if you don't do that and well enough, then that'd be soggy.
Yes.
When you're steaming, like if maybe somebody put too much water and the boiling is touching the bottom, that would make it soggy too. Does that happen a lot?
會啊，係啊，會啊。
Yeah. So do you just
太
want
多
to
水，佢已經啲水沖晒上嚟，咪佢濕咯。
Three Patreon members asked, what's the best way to store it? Like when do you store it? How long do they last?
你千祈就冇蒸熟嘅擺 pizza，最好整得多喺度，你唔好食幾多就蒸幾多。嗱，你可以擺嘅 pizza， 我食10個我就拎10個出嚟蒸。擺耐咗蒸熟，擺耐咗就肯定係乾咗嘅。嗱，我呢啲雲吞係包好㗎。嗱，我包雲吞擺喺 pizza 嘅，擺好耐啦，成幾個禮拜㗎啦。
When you just wrap the wonton, it is very soft, right? Just use the tray, put one by one, and then separate. Totally
so then they're
separate.
firm.
They firm. In maybe 2 or 3 hours will be okay. Then you take out and put anything, the whole thing in the cold spot.
Yeah. When you are cooking them from the freezer, what's the best way to reheat them?
最好就解凍蒸，解凍先蒸啦。解凍蒸我就知道10分鐘我就10分鐘熟。但係如果你成嚿硬擺落去咧，你唔知道要蒸幾耐。我唔知道會硬嘅蒸幾耐先熟。雲吞我就知道，雲吞你喺 freezer 拎出嚟，我就可以知道整可能擺雲吞擺落去個浮起就熟啦。雲吞咧係個浮起就黃，但係佢唔係煲，佢係蒸。呢個永遠係乾蒸燒賣啦嘛，叫做乾蒸燒賣，隔水蒸嘅。
乾蒸面 leave out water.
乾蒸燒賣就係隔水，隔住啲水嚟蒸。
Like you steam fish, right? Fish is wet, right? Fish is wet. 你洗過啲 fish 先蒸係咪？但你啲燒賣你包好之後 ，after you wrap, then you put it in the steam tray.
Oh, the item itself is not wet.
Yeah, because the whole thing is not wet.
Okay.
Just a steam.
How do you stuff the How do you like make it pretty when you stuff it?
Also, so it doesn't fall apart.
唔會跌出嚟嘅，你拎出嚟嘅時候，你擺啲餡上去，因為我啲餡仲有啲黐地嘅嘛，有啲咩佢會整住佢個塊皮嗰度，咁攣埋嘅時候咧，佢唔會跌出嚟嘅。
Do you want to try one?
Yeah. You want to do it after, or you want me to do it now?
We can do it now.
Yeah. Oh. Then we have to have a you and Dad grade. Who makes it better, me or Randy? Randy, you want to race?
Oh God. Well, we need 2 spoons.
Oh, we don't have 2 spoons in this house.
Yeah. so I don't.
Okay.
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 1, 2, 3. Siu Mai wrapping content.
Oh my god! Ow, my hand is cramping. I've been filming.
Take a time. Take a
嘅
time.
爆啦！
Take a time.
你硬上啲，
你唔好
硬上啲。
幫佢哋先得嘅，唔幫嗰啲線冇得幫㗎。Almost there.
Stressed right now.
Don't
I think I
worry.
need more.
Even you don't wrap good for the first pass, still good.
捻上啲嘅就喺下邊嗰度，中間人捻。
Randy, how you doing? I feel like mine. Oh, we can't ask, huh? Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh, baby's up.
Not now, baby.
有佢嚇。
Mommy, daddy are busy.
Okay.
I think this is probably not.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
I think you might.
Wow.
Which one's better?
Which one's better? Maybe Randy. Look at mine doesn't look so cute.
A cat is more pretty. Randy is more full.
Yeah.
Yeah, more full.
Kiss.
Axe
Mwah.
Axe is good.
Yeah. How would Dad fix it?
Hey,
再捻翻口上嚟，
Yeah. Press
捻翻口上嚟，
press the bottom and then push up the opening.
Yes.
嗱捻翻口上啲，咁冚嗱捻上嚟，先撳住佢捻翻上嚟，咁咪實咯。
Okay.
嗱
Then both good.
，yeah
And how
yeah
about
good。
Randy's? Is Randy? What do you need to do?
嗱呢個咧，呢個都 OK，就係咁樣。
Good job,
下邊
Randy.
咧，你又要咁樣捻翻上嚟，捻翻肉上嚟，你硬住呢度，嗱你硬住度。
Use your thumb to press
中間
the
度
meat
捻佢出
goes
嚟。
up.
I'll go get.
醒。
Yay! Good job, Randy.
Good。
Wow, good teacher. Good teacher.
OK，得嘅，
Yay!
Okay.
Let me go get baby.
得啦係嘛？
得。
wait, whose was better though?
佢邊個好啲喎
兩個都好，
？You both good.
兩個都好，
Both good. 細佬你包得多咧就會靚㗎啦。
包多幾個咪靚咯。
I think Randy's was better.
OK。
I think they're about the same.
That's what you say to your wife.
Take notes, Cam.
Hi.
Happy spouse, happy house.
Oh, wow. Hello, dear fan, dear audience. I believe all our fans, you can learn. Siu Mai bring a lot of happiness for your family, for your fan. Thank you. Thank you for watching, sharing, enjoy, subscribe, and support our video. Can say, I know how to make Siu Mai. See you next time. See, Cam. Bye.